In this session, we are going to see about control statements. What are control statements? What are compound statements? These are all questions that needs to be answered, and we are going to just take stock of that in the next 4 or 5 slides. Statements. When you go late to class, I think you would have heard your professor. What time do you call this? You are late, he says. Now that's a statement, isn't it? The same way, a programmer writes some statements in his program to make the user understand as to how the program is progressing. So small instructions that are given inside a program, which even the user might not know, but because he is able to only see the output, these are called as statements. But you need to have control over these statements, for which we use control statements. The control statements can either be a loop or a selection. Like you might be given a menu to choose something, and the user might choose, like say A, B or C, and whatever program is there in such a selection, that program will get executed. Or there could be a looping structure, as you can see in this particular slide. There is a loop. You have a test expression, and if the expression is true, it goes to a true block statement, and that statement is then either incremented or decremented, and this loop carries on till it becomes false. A classic example of a for loop, isn't it? So this is a looping structure. So control statements allow you to do looping and selection. What is a compound statement? Compound statement is nothing but what you call a set of statements that are enclosed between curly braces or branches, as you can see in your screen. There are a lot of statements, but they are enclosed within these braces, because sometimes you might have statements without these curly braces. Then they don't become compound statements. But when they are enclosed between these curly braces, it's called compound statements. It depends on the kind of computation that you're going to make when you're writing a program. When we talk about control statements, or maybe in the previous versions of any programming language that came prior to Java, like C or C++, whenever we spoke about control statements, immediately the if and the for loop used to jump into our minds. That's what control statements are all about. And there are two major categories. One is the selection statements, which contains the if, switch case and all that. And you have loops, like the for or the while loop. The loops is a continuous process till such time you break that loop and come out of it. As I told you, the control statements could be either selection statements or looping statements. And as an example of selection statements, you have the if else, if else if, nested if, or the switch case. And when it comes to looping, you have the for statement, the while statement, and the do while statement. The selection statements are more of conditional statements, like say the if statement, for example. If a condition is true, it moves on to one block of the program. Or if the condition is false, then it moves to another block. These are if else statements. Whereas the looping statements check for a condition and keep looping until the statement becomes false. So once it falls, it comes out of the loop and goes to the next block of the program. Selection statements are ones that check for a particular condition. Like say, for example, you want to check two values. If you say that one value is greater than the other, then one operation should take place. If not, another operation should take place. So these are conditions that are usually checked. And these conditions can also be nested. That is, like say for example, I have a if condition, and the if condition will also have an else part. So I have so many ifs inside an if condition. Like this, it goes on and on. These are called as nested statements, and conditions can also be checked using conditional operators. But before that, I'd just like to talk about these conditions and how to check. Let me give you a simple example. Suppose in a classroom, if the maximum marks that can be scored is 100 and grades are given for the students. Now if I have to put it in an if-else statement, I'll simply say that if a student gets somewhere between 90 to 100, then he gets an A grade. So how do you write the statement? You write if a particular person, student, and I'll have a variable for a student, say S. I'll say if S is equal to 90 and or greater than equal to 90 and S less than equal to 100, then I'll give him an A grade. In the else part, since the value is only from 90 to 100, the else part I'll take him once again to another if. I'll not put an else there, but instead I'll put another if, and I'll say if the student has scored more than 80 and less than equal to 90, then I'll say he has scored a B grade, and so on and so forth. So in every else part, what I'll be doing is I'll be inserting an if instead of the else part. This is called a nested if. So these are nested selection statements. But to check a condition very simply, you can just see the example over here. This is an operator. Now, like say for example, I've used a conditional operator where I check if A is greater than B, and that question mark is my selection statement. So it will return a Boolean value or it will return the greater number. Now if I just put A greater than B, a question mark A colon B, if A is greater than B, then the A gets printed. If B is greater than A, then B gets printed. So this is how you can check a condition, by just using these kind of conditional operators. In the second instance, if you see, I have just written A greater than B, question mark 1 colon 0. So this is a Boolean value. If it finds that A is greater than B, then 1 tantamounts to true, so it will print true. And if A is less than B, then it will read as 0, and therefore the value false will be printed. Instead of the value 0, the message false gets printed. So this is how selection statements work. We next come to the looping statements. The statements that get looped, like say for example in a for loop, the statement gets looped by initialization of a value, and then a condition is checked, and then the value is incremented or decremented. And in this example you can see that we have given a small what we call a hint as to how a programmer can use his program. He can choose for if the value has to be incremented. If not, a while can be used. The for loop can otherwise be called as a counter style loop, and it's very simple. The for loop is very simple. Usually programmers use the for loop quite often rather than the while loop. In Java, the initialization inside the loop is not needed for the for loop. So you can very easily create a program when you use the for loop. The benefits are a lot, because you can trace your operations as to where you started and where you ended. It's very easy, and you can also create flowcharts, easy flowcharts when it comes to doing these kind of control statements. And of course the programmer's productivity increases because he doesn't have to write lots of codes. He just has to bring it into a small loop, and then his codes get executed easily. So the number of lines that he needs to type becomes less, and therefore his productivity increases. So my dear friend, I think we've gone through all this. We've seen what a statement is, the control statements, the compound statements. Of course we saw the types of control statements and the benefits. So till such time we meet again with more programs. It's bye for now and thank you.